Carson's Corner is a black LGBTQ-owned small business. They sell merchandise and apparel on pop culture franchises such as Dragon Ball, King of the Hill, Sailor Moon, and of course and most importantly, Power Rangers. If you're interested in getting their amazing merch, be sure to check them out at carsoncorner.com. Link will be down below.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Leo. Happy birthday to you. Hi, how's everyone doing? Welcome to the Rider Time Podcast here on the Morphin Network. I'm Mike, TimeRider Zero, your host. And in case you're wondering, wait a minute, weren't we supposed to do Ultraman Blazer on Tuesday? Why are we doing it immediately after Rider Time Podcast? Well, that's because stuff had to be moved around. On Monday, I saw an alpha cut of a movie that I'm not gonna disclose because NDAs. And on Tuesday, it was the big man's birthday himself. That's right, Leo. It was Leo's birthday yesterday, and obviously I had to be there. So yeah, staff birthdays, very important. And yes, he actually got his hands on a desired driver. So you best believe that Ben and John cosplay will be a thing in a future convention. I don't know what convention it's going to be at, but it will be at a future convention. Obviously, I'm going to be John. He's going to be Ben because we love our sweet bodyguards. And again, one more time, shout outs to Mike for watching our podcast, because like when actual actors from the shows we review actually watch our show, it means the world to us. I mean, all of our fans, every single individual person who watches our show is important to us. But when someone from the show is also watching it, it just feels really special, because that means it's like they enjoy having us talk about them, and it's nice. It just feels nice, And yeah, so Ben, John, if you ever show up at a future Power Morphicon or Japan World Heroes or even Ranger Stop, but please come to one of the California conventions though, so that I can actually meet you guys. I look forward to meeting you guys. And speaking of California conventions, Power Morphicon announced two very special Sentai guests in the past 2 weeks. I mean, one was already announced in a previous week, but yesterday they announced the second guest. So the first one is Dragon Ranger himself. That's right, Burai from Jew Ranger, but also Change Pegasus from Dengeki Sentai Changeman, because he played both characters, is going to be at Power Morphicon next year. And to add to that, if you thought getting Captain Marvelous at the last Morphicon was all the hype, you haven't seen anything yet, because next year, 2024 Morphicon at the Pasadena Convention Center. Let me just make sure it's correct this time, because Japan World Heroes was moved to the Burbank Marriott, so I want to make sure that I got the dates and locations correctly this time. Okay, let's see. Let's look at the official website. Okay, Power Morphicon is going to be 2024. Okay, it's gonna be August 23rd to the 25th at the Pasadena Convention Center. Oh, so it's gonna be in the same place it's always been, except for that one time it was in the Anaheim Convention Center. And it's gonna be August 23rd to the 25th. And so, who's gonna show up there? If you thought Captain Marvelous was all the hype, guess who's gonna be there next year? I'll give you a hint. Kamen Rider. Kincaid. That's right. The passerby Kamen Rider himself, Mashiro Inoue, aka Tsukasa Kodoya, who also played one of the Garos, is gonna be at Power Morphicon 2024. That's right. we have the Kamen Rider equivalent of Captain Marvelous showing up. We're gonna have the Toei equivalent of JDF showing up. And I'm all about that hype. Okay? Like, as a Kamen Rider fan, it's good to see him show up. And, hopefully, much like last year, we will get the opportunity to meet him and interview him and all that stuff. I mean, I have both the white and magenta Deca drivers. Deluxe, not CSM, because I'm not rich enough to have a CSM. But enough about the convention, which you should register for after we finish watching this podcast. Right after the podcast, we'll have a 15-minute intermission. And during those 15 minutes, make sure you go to powermorphicons.com and register. Get a red pass, silver pass, gold pass, platinum pass. Get the full VIP treatment. Get yourself that VIP dinner so you could sit right next to either a Green Ranger or a light red rider. TJ Omega. He made that one joke that one time. So, it's an old video. I missed that video, but good times. But what are we here to discuss? We are here to talk about Kamen Rider Gotchard, episode 13. Take it back! Friendship forever! And you're probably wondering, wait a minute, why? Why does it say YUjo X forever? And why are things capitalized in the title in such a weird way? That's because, YUjo does mean friendship, but why specifically YUjo? Because, much like in the past episodes, the episode title is based on a canon, but this one's a little bit differently. Much like how Josuke Higashikata is just Jojo Higashikata because the Ske kanji can be read as Jo, so it's Jojo Higashikata. We're basically taking syllables of UFOX and just rearranging it. I myself don't understand why that's a thing, but apparently it's a thing. Don't know why, but it is. So yeah, UFO-X. Yeah, because like UFO in Japanese is pronounced UFO, which is funny because the UFO war star insect from Gotchard, its American name in Megaforce is in fact UFO, which is kind of funny. Like, you have to really appreciate that fanatic aspect. And I should know very well. It would be a disgrace if I did not know that. The fact that specific monster is named UFO, because a few years ago I did interview the actor who played him. If I recall, it was the same actor who played Panic in Young Hercules. Hold on. Give me a second. UFO. Yeah, it was. He did a lot of monsters. Yeah, Joel Toback. Yeah, Joel Toback. He did a lot of characters, namely Panic from Young Hercules, but he also did Gorgax in Super Mega Force. He did Digitron and Beast Morphers, Jupiter in Dino Thunder, and my two favorite monsters, the Slob Goblin and Footzilla in Ninja Storm. I love, like, I've said it before in during that interview, and I'm gonna say it again right now. Two of my three most favorite episodes of Ninja Storm involved two of the monsters that Toback did the voice of. Footzilla and Slob Goblin. One of them One of them was the Sensei Switcheroo, where Sensei Watanabe switches bodies with Shane and then with Dustin. And the Slob Goblin was from the episode where Dustin is allegedly going solo because the Yellow Ranger saved the Storm Rider store from a group of racketeers. Which, by the way, it's crazy we have racketeers in a season of Power Rangers. Of course, like it kind of starts to make sense once you get to RPM, where they straight up have mafia involved, like the straight up mob. Like you got 5 mobs gunning for the Green Ranger. But it is what it is. But no, that episode I will remember it more for the B plot, where the Thunder Rangers have to visit their adopted grandma, and she just happens to um, be replaced with Capri in really bad makeup. Just, you know, just thinking about that episode. It's just thinking about that one scene and how like Mar and Capri can't even keep character. It's something. Oh, but yeah, no, the third Ninja Storm episode is the pork chop episode because it had the most memorable line in all of Power Rangers history. And no, it's not K Boomer from Izzy in Dino Fury. It's from Sally Martin herself. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to. My friends are trapped in the popcorn, and I have to save them. That line never gets old. That line never gets old. Such an infamous. But speaking of saving friends, let's actually get into the Writer Time podcast. So, the episode left off with our main character having a dream where he fought Dread, but in the process, he ended up having to kill Sabimaru. And that's intense. That's an intense thing to have to worry about because as if it wasn't bad enough that you have to worry about having to fight this new Kamen Rider who knows all of your moves. But you also have to run the risk of hurting your best friend. I get it. It's like Yugi and Joey in that harbor duel where one of them would be pulled down by an anchor. That's basically what it reminded me of. And I mean, thankfully, this is just a dream sequence for now. And speaking of dream sequences, I find it interesting. They actually have a Caucasian professor in this episode. It doesn't really matter what the race of the professor is, and he has absolutely no significance to the plot whatsoever, other than him getting unalived later in the episode. It's just really interesting when they have a Caucasian or African actor in the show because it's just very rare. And the thing is, it's not like black and Caucasian actors are a minority in Japan, like so much of a minority, but you do rarely see them on Sentai and Rider. We see them from time to time, like Mr. J in Kamen Rider Fives. That one soldier from A to Z Memories of Fate. Shinken Brown, Whacker Wilson. That one kid from the episode of Gekki Ranger who, for some reasons, from North Korea. Why is there a white kid from North Korea in Japan on Christmas? That's kind of crazy. I mean, I guess I get it. It's like Japan and North Korea probably don't have as much beef as, say, America and North Korea. I don't know the exact relations between the two, but it's still kind of weird. For me, at least from an American perspective. Um, like it's great. Like I'm trying to understand. It's been years since that episode came out, and I'm still trying to understand that North Korea aspect. Like if it was like if that kid was from Seoul or Busan, like I probably would never question it. Heck, if he was even from the Philippines, I'd be like, why do we have a Canadian actor when we could have got a Filipino actor? But I would still get it. Or Hong Kong. If the kid was from Hong Kong, I would also get that. Or Siberia. Or America. Or Canada. But North Korea, that's kind of weird. Okay, let's see. Other examples. John and Ben, the most robbed characters to ever appear on the show since May from Saber. Oh yeah, GG, check it out. So it's not that there aren't a lot of Black or Caucasian actors in Tokusatsu, but they appear so sparingly and far in between that it just feels like a Easter egg when that happens. Actually, I'm curious who this actor is. Like, and I'm curious if he has been in any other projects besides Kamen Rider. But this is in fact an English class, and because like if you look at the whiteboard, it looks like they're learning about. They're learning about different jobs because I see the words actress and athlete, and there's like the paragraph for you to insert something. Blank an athlete as an occupation. Like I could see that there's an OC. No, wait. No, that cannot. No, wait. It's not occupation. That's a COM. An athlete as a but the point is, it's an English class, so there being a white actor in this scene kind of checks out. Not that there aren't any Japanese people that know English, but again, Easter egg, Easter egg. Not gonna lie, that actor does look kind of familiar though. I wonder if he actually appeared in something though. But yeah, so we find the tribunal of alchemy, and we actually find out something very interesting. I mean, yeah, like they're like, oh, so one of our inquisitors turned out to be a spy, and they just sweep it under the rug. It's like, yeah, you have no proof that she was a spy, so yeah, we're not gonna believe you. But we find out something else that's really interesting in the conversation. Turns out that Yamato has a time limit. Turns out he has to retrieve all the ex-chemis by the end of the year. So the end of the year, that means we got 3 episodes. Looks like there might be 5 chemis to look forward to in the next 3 episodes. Because we know how Christmas episodes work. We find out there's a new form. We end on we conclude a subplot, and then we maybe leave a bit of a tease for the next arc when we come back in the new year. So yeah, what will happen to Yamato if he doesn't retrieve those chemis? But he also says something very interesting to Spanner. Something that sounds a little traitorous. Seems to me like maybe Rene's father might be regaining some street cred soon. I swear to God, if it turns out that the plot of the next arc is gonna be a carbon copy of frickin' Saber, where Hotaro's a traitor. Now all the alchemy students have to hunt him down. Then he has to earn back all of their friendship. I'm gonna get very livid because it's one thing to have some similarities to past seasons. It's one thing to have call outs past seasons. It's one thing to have Easter eggs to past seasons. But to blatantly repeat the plots of past seasons. And I'm not talking about having the main character be a high school student that wants to be friends with everyone. No, that's just a cookie cutter thing. But to straight up do the whole God, I'm blanking on the main character's name. It's Saber versus the entire South Pole. I really hope we don't end up going there. And because then I'd have to be like, oh, let me guess, the leader of the Tribunal of Alchemy is going to be one of the main villains, but we still have the Hades sisters to contend with. We're gonna wipe out the Hades sisters one at a time at a later point, at no discernible order, but very likely Atropos will be last on the list. Honestly, it would be an interesting twist if Lachesis would be the first one to fall, just because she's the middle sister. So either the main villain's finally going to be Atropos or the person in charge of the Alchemy Tribunal, or both. Like maybe the person above Atropos is the person in charge of the Tribunal of Alchemy. If it turns out to be Rene's dad, I'm going to be a little pissed at that too, because then why would you help Hotaru in that one scene? I mean, if he gets corrupted towards the end, like I would get that. Oh, did we mention that Rene's dad might still be alive in the past episode? Because that was hinted on. We didn't talk about it, but that was hinted upon. Meanwhile, it is said that while Sabimaru has intensive knowledge of chemies, which will be very useful to the Dread Driver, his body cannot handle the strain of using the driver, so it's likely that he will die in the next battle, and they need to analyze as much information from his field operations as possible before he dies. So we have more at stake here, because it is very likely that Sabimaru will die this episode. And we know how things work out when we get close to Christmas time. So our main characters are trying to figure out what to do. Obviously, they don't want to straight up kill Sabimaru. They want to figure out a way to extract him from the suit, and they think that UFOX might be able to help out in some kind of way. But before they have a chance to do anything about it, freaking Hades sisters just show up and immediately murk the English teacher. It's like, man, us Black and Caucasian actors in Tokusatsu just cannot catch a break. Like first you got freaking Mr. J from Fies being the first of Orphanok from the Lucky Clover Club to get murked. Then Whacker Wilson gets that back problem. Then you got that one dude in the helicopter from Kamen Rider W. He gets immediately murked in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Let's see. And then we got Ben and John, the most insulting example. They almost, and I repeat, almost become riders, because while they do get belts, they got their ID course, they do transform. We don't see their suits. They fight off screen. They demorph before, like, as they reappear on screen, and they get immediately murked. But we will make it happen. I swear. If they can't do it, we will. But yet, Sabimaru is mind controlled into transforming again. So I'm glad he's not like doing a full heel turn, because just like having like, say for example, having Clotho or Lachesis putting their grubby hands on poor Sabimaru would be very disgusting to me, because, well, aside from the canonical age difference, it's the fact that they're evil and they're just manipulating him to do their evil ends. That just really hurts. But they also warn the main characters, hey, he'll only survive the transformation for only 8 minutes, and then he'll die. But don't worry, we'll demorph him just before it happens so that we could collect the data. At first, Banner wants to get a rematch, but Minato, surprisingly being a good teacher, is like, no, the other students they want to have a chance to save their friend. You got to believe in the power of youth and all that might guy type of speech. Banner's like, fine, I'll let them do it, but I'm not too happy about them doing it. And yeah, we do get a 1-on-2 fight scene, and impressively enough, Minato's holding up much better, which is weird because in the previous episode, he was getting his butt kicked by Clotho, but now he's taking on both Clotho and Lachesis. So what's going on here? Why was he doing it that well earlier? But just so happens that Kajiki happens to be in the area, and he spots Sabimaru turning into a Black Rider. And when he sees everyone else trying to summon UFO X, he actually joins in on them, and it's adorable because he has no alchemic powers, but it's like the power of friendship. He's boosting everyone else's power of friendship in order to summon UFO X, and it's just adorable. And I still stand by what I said. I'm not saying it's definitely gonna happen. I'm saying it should happen. I want Kajiki to become a science-themed Kamen Rider. I want him to be a Kamen Rider in Gotchard that relies on science instead of alchemy, because he's not an alchemist, obviously, but he would not need to be. That's what I'm hoping for. Toei, please make it happen. Please make it happen, because this would be so perfect. And on that subject matter, I know it's a little too late because it's the 5th season instead of the 4th season of the Reiwa era, so it would not work as well as an anniversary. But picture this: what if there was a movie or a TTFC special where Gotchard has to team up with Wizard and Build, because check this out. Wizard uses magic, Build uses science, Gotchard uses alchemy, which is something in between. And what's cool is that Gotchard and Wizard both use rings to power their supernatural abilities, while both Gotchard and Build use formulas to combine two distinct powers together in order to make something more powerful. So can you imagine if there would be a way that you would have Wizard and Build both fighting over who gets to train Gotchard at some kind of unique skill or something? I don't know, something along those lines. But then they have to learn to reconcile by having Gotchard learn both science and magic and incorporate that into his rider form. And so then you'll end up having a Build Wizard form. Like you would have like a Chemi for Rabbit Tank and a Chemi for Flame Dragon, and then so he would become a Tank Dragon or Flame Rabbit or whatever. And I know that Rabbit Tank is already a Chemi card in the Legends thing, but I think the best thing to pair it up with would be Wizard because again, science versus magic alchemy in the middle. Like that would have been perfect. Like make that happen, Toei. Actually, I want to look it up. Kamen Rider build Chemi card. Okay. Writer Chemi cards. Let's see. Let's see. Legend Writer. Let's see. Legend Writer. So we got build. Okay. So build is a level 5 card, which is good. Okay, we're off to a good start. Now, does Wizard have a card? Let's see. It's used with Forze. No, no, no. I mean, they're both level 5, so it could, the numbers still match. Wait, are all the riders 5s? Yeah, all the riders are 5s. But no, why is it with Forze? It would have made more sense if it was with Wizard. Dang it. I'm a little upset now because this would have been a perfect opportunity. I know I've spent way too much aside time like focusing on that, but you gotta understand where I'm coming from, right? So yeah, so they do manage to summon UFO, and it kidnaps Otaro just like a UFO would. Yep, yep, just like a UFO would. And of course, we get a little cute little moment, which we cannot properly see with the banner. There we go. It's a very wide angle shot. My apologies. Don't blame me. Blame the cinematographer. And like they end up back in that realm where Hotaru first met Rine's father, and they become friends. So Uchukita. Space and friendship. Hmm. Mm, mm, No. The Force reference is way too blatant. It hurts. But it just so happens that he's able to use the saber as a belt buckle in order to use a level 10 Chemi. And he becomes Gotchard UFO X. And of course, the Hades sisters are like, but how you can't control level 10? What's going on? I'm not controlling the 10. I'm working with the 10. We're teamed up. We are buddies. It's not wrong, though. It's not wrong, though. But I feel like I've seen that in an anime before. Like the whole befriending a monster in order to use their abilities. I feel like I've seen that before. Maybe it's Pokemon. Maybe it's Digimon. Maybe it's Digimon Frontier, because in the last episode, turns out the legendary warriors were sentient. So Kazimon learns to speak Italian because she spent so much time with Zoe. It still feels kind of weird, but it does make sense. He's not controlling the Chemi. He's working with the Chemi. And But yeah, turns out UFO has a tractor beam feature, and one of its features is to pull a person out of their rider suit, and that looks crazy. And yes, I caught a perfect moment where he's doing that Michael Jackson smooth criminal lean forward thing. Oh man, I miss Kamen Rider Skull. But yeah, using that same tractor beam feature with the now hollowed out Kamen Rider Dread, he's able to just beat it up with impunity. It's a cool move. It was a cool move. I don't have a problem with it. But once it's destroyed, Atropos takes the belt and says, "Oh, we've collected enough data. Now we can use this for the next phase." And I'm like, really, really. So this was all a means to an end. Even more so to the means to the end. So extra steps. This was just yet another extra step to have to deal with. Okay, based on the trailer for the next episode, I'm gonna go on a limb and say that either A, they managed to make copies of the Dread Driver, or B, the Dread Driver can be used by even the Hades sisters. It's not quite clear the Hades sisters are even able to use alchemy the same way that other characters use alchemy, because we've seen them materialize weapons or use mind control powers and teleport, but is it really alchemy or is it just supernatural powers? But maybe they themselves are not able to use chemi cards the way that Gotchard can use them, but somehow this will allow them to. And maybe from the data I collected from Sabimaru, they will have a better understanding of how to use the chemis, which kind of makes them more dangerous. I don't know what's gonna happen next, but hopefully, given what we saw in that earlier scene, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get another new form, not the T-Rex. I mean the one where like you have to combine 5 level 10 chemis, because we've seen that card. We've seen that card, and the guy did say that by year's end you need to completely collect all the cards. So around 3 more episodes before the end of the year. Actually, let me check just to make sure. Let's see. The 10th would be the episode 14, 15. Yeah, there might only be 15 episodes. Yeah. Yeah, there might be only 15 episodes this year. Maybe 16, but they would have to play the episode either Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. Usually they take New Year's off instead of Christmas, but we never really know for sure. So 15 or 16 episodes. So just a little bit more to go before the end of the arc. So let's see what's going to happen here. I mean, honest. Oh, and also the rest of the characters walk it off. Sabimaru's back, thanks to the help of UFO and Kaji. And like Kajiki's like standing all the way over there in the corner. It's like I don't know what's going on, but it seems very heartfelt. And I can't help but wonder, did they forget to wipe his memory? Or are they just gonna do it off screen? I really hope it'll reach a point where Kajiki gets in on the secret, because I would feel bad for him getting his memories wiped so many times. You'd think it would cause some kind of brain damage. 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 But again, I really want him to be a science-themed Kamen Rider in a season that deals with alchemy. I'm not saying it will happen, and very likely it won't, but it's what I want to happen. And that's it for the episode. We only have a few more episodes left before the end of the arc. I don't know what more we could say or do about it, but just watch the next few episodes. But I feel like the way it is right now, we need to, like, how good or bad the show is up to this point would be completely determined by the next 3 episodes or 2 episodes, because the season as a whole has been very iffy. It's been lackluster. I mean, the more recent episodes did become better, but I feel like there's a lot of pacing issues. There's not just not with the episode, but with the arc so far, and just like all these callbacks to past seasons, it makes it feel derivative as opposed to just clever or original, and that just kind of bothers me. It's like one thing that really annoys me with the Hasbro era of Power Rangers. No offense, Hasbro, we love you guys. Is too many references to past seasons. Like it's good to have like a reference here or there, but it doesn't mean that like. But the thing is, when you do it all the time, it loses its magic. And so when a past season does show up, like say in space or a grid battle force or a lost galaxy, it's like it doesn't feel magical like it did in the past. Like if like when Casey showed up in Super Mega Force, that felt awesome because we did not need to see him show up, but he did. And it was cool because he taught two of the Rangers some special Pai Schwa moves and stuff. But when you do too many callbacks, it just makes you want to roll your eyes. But at least, they're not just, but props to the Hasbro era, at least they're not just doing it to Mighty Morphin because everyone wants to, because like in the past, like during the Neo Saban era, it's always specifically Mighty Morphin they're constantly wanting to reference. But here it's like, yeah, it's Gotchard, it's a 5-year anniversary season or 25 if we're counting the Hess era, but we're not because it's the Reiwa era. I'm sorry, it's the Reiwa era. I know that Showa had to take a break, and we start in the year 2000 instead of 1990, but you know, yeah, this episode, a lot of potential. This episode's more setup than it is payoff. And yes, we do get a new form, and this time, unlike those two, like Mechanodasher and Electro Jungle, like this one actually did feel earned, and I respect it. It did feel earned, but the episode still feels like a setup for the next 3 episodes, and I hope the payoff will be well worth it. Because otherwise, just getting a new form on its own will not be enough to win my trust for the next 35 episodes that follow. Well, 35-ish episodes that will follow the end of the break. So that's all I have to say on it. Yes, I'm more invested in the B plot for this episode than I am for anything else. Like, I'm more invested in what's going on with Yamato. I'm more invested in, sorry, not Yamato, Minato. I'm more invested with what's going on with Kajiki. And yes, it is a Sabimaru focus 2-part episode, but well, actually, no, 3-part episode. But it also isn't because Sabimaru has very little agency in the episode. Well, 2 episodes actually. So, I mean, hopefully we'll get more Sabimaru episodes. But hey, at least he got more focus than Teruaki did. So props to him. But will Teruaki finally get his own time to shine? Well, I'm just gonna say it like it is. Not this week. Not this week. Yeah. So we are gonna do Ultraman Blazar at 8:15, 11:15 Pacific and Eastern this week, like right after Gotchard. So definitely stick around after this. As far as my score for this episode, it's a 9, but we could have done some stuff to make it a 10. Okay, comments. We only got the one comment. Aka Blue. Hello, how are you? It's nice seeing you. So thank you for showing up, Aka Blue. This has been the Writer Time podcast, and this has been Kamen Rider Gotchard episode 13. Take it back, friendship forever. And if you enjoy watching me rant about missing out on having a Build versus Wizard crossover or whatever else have you, please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Ding that bell icon to stay notified for our latest videos. We do Ultraman Blazar on Tuesdays, Kamen Rider Gotchard on Ultraman Blazar on Tuesdays, Kamen Rider Gotchard on Wednesdays, Osama Sentai King Odra on Thursdays. We had got 2 episodes of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury left on this Saturday and next Saturday. And we recently got started on Kamen Rider Build on Sundays at 6 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern. If you haven't seen us discuss the first 5 episodes, please be sure to do so, because we're doing episodes 6 through 10 this Sunday. So be sure to check that out. But as far as this week's schedule goes, there's a slight modification. So for those of you who were wondering, where is the Ultra Quest podcast this Tuesday? Well, don't worry, guys. It's gonna show up in 30 minutes as of this moment in time, in real time, because it's gonna be at 8:15 Pacific, right after this podcast is over, and we're finishing it a little bit earlier than usual. So we have a nice, like, let's say 20-minute break before we get started. Actually, no, not even 20-minute break. Actually 20-minute break, just in case. And yeah, if you want, please check out our sister channel, The Buttery Show, where we do movie reviews, video game news, all that stuff. And we are going to be doing we're going to be discussing the new Yu Yu Hakusho series that's come out on Netflix. And we are also going to discuss Doctor Who. We just need to figure out exactly what time during the week to actually do that. With all that said, guys, thank you so. Oh yeah. Also, one last thing. Please, if you want to follow my personal content, be sure to find me on Instagram at Boken_Kabuto, and on Twitch at twitch.tv/BokenKabuto. In January, I'm finally going to get back to streaming, and I'm going to be doing Mega Man Battle Network series on the Nintendo Switch. I have the Game Boy Advance games, but I'm going to do it on the Switch so we could stream it proper. Proper. And there's nothing left to say, but I'll see you guys in half an hour. Please be sure to stay safe, stay hydrated, update your emergency kits, hug your loved ones, enjoy all that holiday shopping for those special summons, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.